Is BTS's Jin's safety sacrificed for high ratings? How could a star of Jin's class perform a dangerous scene without close supervision? And why is Netflix silent? These facts electrify the army. HYB finally intervened. But is it all too late? What's really going on behind Jin's smile while appearing on the Netflix show Screwballs? Why do fans actually feel haunted by anger and fear after watching an episode that should have been a light and fun moment? This question began to flood the social media universe just minutes after the show aired. And as video snippets of the episode spread across various platforms, one fact began to stick out and was indisputable. Something was terribly wrong. It was so wrong that the army felt like they had been betrayed by the entertainment system they had believed and unexpected that the Screwballs program, which usually features funny games and lighthearted challenges, would actually become an explosive point of global outrage from BTS fans. What's even more surprising is how the episode shows Jin, BTS's main visual, and South Korea's honorary military ambassador in a situation that, according to many, is not only dangerous, but also lacks sufficient reason to do so. The question is, why was Jin allowed to do scenes that production experts considered high risk without obvious safeguards in place? And is it true that no representatives of HYB were present during the filming? These facts are still confusing, but one thing is certain. The show shocked the world and made fans question many things, including who is actually responsible for Jin's safety. In one segment of the show, Jin is seen standing on a platform more than 2 meters high, being asked to jump into a seemingly shallow pool, too shallow even for safety measures. There are no mattresses, protective equipment, or safety teams around the site. To make matters worse, Jin's facial expression before making the jump was clearly captured on camera, hesitant, nervous, and like he had no other choice. Is this purely part of the show? Or is there invisible pressure? Therein lies the army's anger. And this anger is not just because their favorite idol was injured, but because the system that was supposed to protect actually let go. The next question immediately arose painfully. Did Jin really know the risks of the scene? Was he given the option to refuse? And if so, why does he keep doing it? Some fans speculated that the pressure to perform well at international events made Jin suppress his own fears. But doesn't this just make it clear that the mentality of the entertainment industry has not changed since then? That salvation is often sacrificed for the sake of a show? Even more surprising, not long after the episode aired, there were reports from the internal crew that Jin had experienced back pain after the scene. Although not severe, the fact that this was not officially reported to the public only aggravates the situation. In fact, until this news began to spread, Netflix has not given an official statement. They chose silence. A deafening silence, according to many ARMY, and this is where HYB finally spoke up. In a surprise press conference held at midnight Seoul time, agency representatives said they felt betrayed by the show's production team. We did not receive accurate information about the risks of the scene, and we do not approve of Jin to perform actions that could endanger his health, both physical and mental, they said in a serious tone. But the question is this enough? Is that statement able to dampen the disappointment of fans who already feel that their idol is a victim? Some fans even referred to this as a covert exploitation, as Jin's position as one of the BTS members who had just completed his military duty clearly put him in a big spotlight. His appearance on Netflix was long awaited. So when he finally appears, not as a comfortable and respected guest, but as a figure who seems to be forced to play with danger, anger is inevitable. I cried when I saw Jin's expression before jumping. It's not an expression of people enjoying the game, wrote an ARMY on X, formerly Twitter. He seemed to force himself to smile. And after that, it all felt wrong. The hashtag #ProtectJin is trending at #1 in 14 countries. The compilation video of Jin's moments before and after the scene was watched millions of times in a matter of hours. Many fans began to call for a boycott of the event, and some even urged HYB to take the matter to law. But the question is, will legal action really change the system? Or will it just be news for a while before it's forgotten? One thing that can't be simply forgotten is Jin's own reaction. In a V-Live video recorded a few days before the show was released, Jin said, "There was something that made me uncomfortable during filming, but I had to finish it anyway because everything was scheduled." This sentence has now become a kind of veiled signal. Does the genie actually want to talk but cannot? These questions became even more pressing when one of BTS's staff members leaked that after filming was over, Jin was seen clutching his back and asking for additional rest time before returning to the hotel. He's not angry. He just looks very tired. And we all know there is something he does not reveal, he revealed. Now the pressure is on Netflix. Will they issue a formal apology? Or is it hiding behind the words, international production standards? And how will HYB follow up on this incident? The latest news is that the agency has filed a formal protest letter and is considering stopping all cooperation with Netflix productions until an indefinite time. A bold act, but is this really due to the protection of the artist? Or is it just a strategic move so as not to lose the trust of the public? Most heartbreaking of all is the fact that Jin, someone who is known for always entertaining others, who laughs the loudest on variety shows, who most often hides his sadness behind jokes, has to experience situations that make his fans doubt whether he is really being treated as a world artist. And even more painful, we don't know if the genie will talk. Or will he choose silence for the sake of maintaining good relations with the industry? Will this be the beginning of a major change in the treatment of idols at international events? Or is this just another episode of a long-running drama that will never really change? And most importantly, will we see the genie smile back in a truly sincere way, or will her smile always be overshadowed by the jumps she never wanted? ARMY knows one thing for sure. Jin deserves protection. Not just because he's a star, but because he's human. And man should not be made a spectacle out of his own pain. Is it true that the genie does not have the power to say no? Or has he been given misleading information about the concept of the event since the beginning? The speculation stems from allegations that Screwballs was originally sold to HYB as a completely safe and friendly light comedy show, rather than as a dangerous physical challenge show. And if these allegations are true, then who is responsible for the misinformation? Is the show producer? What are Netflix internals? Or was there a third party who deliberately edited the information before it reached the HYB management desk? The fans started doing what they've always done great: investigating. And the results are very disturbing. Some fans found that in the Japanese and Taiwanese versions of the show, the challenge of jumping into the pool was never raised at all. Even one account from Taiwan wrote that the episode featuring Jin was 4 minutes longer than the version that aired in their region. Where did those 4 minutes go? Were any cut scenes intentionally deleted to prevent greater outrage? Another suspicion arose, this time from a video editor who analyzed frame by frame of the Jin jumping scene. In his explanation, he points out that when the genie lands in the pond, there is a splashing effect of water that seems to be re-edited to look more dramatic. This is no ordinary montage. It's like they deliberately amplified the scene to make it look extreme. And if it is so, this is not just exploitation. This is emotional manipulation, he said, manipulation of emotions. These words echoed throughout the fan community. Is it true that genies are used as a tool to arouse public reaction? Was his hesitant expression, imperfect leap, and awkward smile deliberately made viral material for the benefit of the audience? And if yes, how could a company as big as Netflix let this happen? But Netflix is not alone in this storm. HYB did not escape criticism either. Although the agency issued a strong statement, many fans felt the move had come too slowly. Why didn't they assign a special supervising staff to accompany Jin during filming? Do they believe too much in the label international production? Or are they not fully aware of the risks of the event themselves? One thing that became the sharpest emotional point was when a leaked behind-the-scenes video showed Jin sitting on the back steps of the studio, alone. The 23-second video captures the moment he is seen staring blankly at the floor, his hand squeezing a bottle of mineral water, and then he smiles a little smile that is not for the camera, not for the fans, and not for anyone. An empty smile. A hollow smile. Many ARMY cried after seeing this video, calling it proof that Jin was unhappy while filming. How could a human being as strong as Jin, who is always trying to look funny and cheerful, show such an expression unless he really felt bad? Asked a fan who claimed to have supported Jin since the Boy in Love era. I feel like a failure. We all feel like we failed to protect her. This reaction is not just an emotional cry. Communities of fans in different country. But it wasn't just fans who fell silent in unease. Behind the scenes, the atmosphere in HYB itself is rumored to be far from calm. There are internal whispers that the decision to let Jeannie join the Netflix program Screwballs came from external pressure both politically and financially. A former HYB production staffer mentioned that the deal with Netflix for Screwballs is part of a much larger cooperation, a global strategy to strengthen K-content's dominance. Jin is not just a guest star. He is a symbol, and they used that symbol to open up the market. He said in an anonymous interview that electrified the international fan community. If this is so, then the question becomes sharper. Was the genie sacrificed for the benefit of the corporation? And as the question resonated, fans' eyes began to turn to two names that have always been Jin's emotional protectors, Jungkook and Taehyung. Over the years, all ARMY knew how Jin was an irreplaceable hyung, giving BTS members warmth, jokes, and even meaningful silence. So when the video of the Screwballs went viral, many asked, where was Jungkook when he knew Jin was filming the scene? And why hasn't Taehyung, who is known to be so protective, said a word yet? Shortly thereafter, Jungkook's ex Twitter account showed unusual activity. He replaced his profile picture with a picture of a sunset, something he had never done before. Fans immediately attributed this to his depressed mood. A few hours later, Jungkook posted a short sentence that broke ARMY's heart. If I knew, I would have stopped him. Sorry, Hyung. That's it. But the power of the sentence was more than enough to ignite a wave of emotional reactions that shook. Many fans believe that Jungkook feels guilty because as his closest sibling, he should have known. He should be able to do something. But he doesn't know. And now he has to bear that burden. Meanwhile, Taehyung's silence raises deeper questions. Some refer to his silence as a form of anger. Others thought he was still holding back because he was too angry to speak. But when a fan cam video shows Taehyung leaving the set of a variety show with a tense face and teary eyes, the world knows. He's not silent because he doesn't care. He was silent because he was too angry to speak. And finally, on the third day since the viral Screwballs video incident, Taehyung wrote on Weverse, if your loved one gets hurt and everyone smiles, what would you do? That one sentence, like a shot into the heart of the entertainment industry. The sentence does not name names, does not blame anyone directly. The ARMY knows. The world knows. It's about Jin, about the wounds left open for the sake of rating, about the pain tucked behind the glittering stage. Netizens began digging deeper, discovering that several Screwballs production crews had been involved in the controversial show before, which was also accused of neglecting the safety of participants for the sake of a viral moment. There were even reports that in a previous production, one of the participants suffered a back injury that deprived him of work for 4 months. But Netflix never issued an apology, and the show remains uncensored. Now, the dark history is back. The difference is that now the victim is BTS's Jin, a global icon who has been considered untouchable, but apparently can also be played with. HYB was cornered. In an internal emergency meeting that reportedly lasted more than 5 hours, a number of directors urged to take legal action against Netflix. But others fear the move will cut strategic ties with the world's largest media company. It's not just about Jin. It's about reputation, stock, and the future of HYB's global expansion. And in the midst of that debate, one name came up in internal reports leaked to the media: Bang Se-hyuk. HYB's founder is rumored to have intervened directly, stating that the safety of the artist is more important than any form of business cooperation. If we lose the trust of Jin and the fans, then we lose everything, he was quoted as saying in an internal memo. But is that enough to calm the anger? Will one corrective move from HYBE be able to heal the wounds that have been made by one bad decision? The fans are not sure. Some began voicing the hashtag boycott Screwballs movement, demanding the Genie episode be removed from the platform. Others called for Netflix to pay Genie and her family direct compensation for the psychological impact that may arise. And even more extreme,